think that our startup is definitely different from some of these others that have gone so far, insofar as we're still a very early stage startup. So our reason for being here tonight is really to learn from some of you guys about cool ideas and new ways that we can leverage our technology. So perhaps a slightly different objective. We do have an MVP app, which you've seen flash up across the screen a few times. The ToonCrier app is available in MVP on the Apple Store. That said, I want you all to imagine a really fantastic speech that you might have seen at some point. Maybe it was a speech like Martin Luther King's I Had a Dream speech, something that really riveted you and changed the way you thought about something. Now imagine receiving that same speech by text. No, right? That's not going to work. You need to have this ability to communicate as humans, right? We lean in when we're interested. We frown, we shout. There's intonation in our voice, right? All of this, for the most part, is missing on the internet, right? Because we've just kind of gone into this text mode. What ToonCrier seeks to do is we seek to unleash some of this ability to communicate with characters, right? So we are going to allow you to communicate in a whole new way. And that really means to express yourself. Now that said, there's a problem for a lot of us who like to talk. This gentleman up here is my uncle, Donald J. Soa. He's a great financial advisor, pretty serious guy. He has a radio show, so he's not a shy guy. Right? Talking kind of runs in the family, so we're okay with that. But I can tell you that he's not going to be talking about all of his political views with everybody, because he's going to be in trouble with half of his marketplace, right? If it's really a split between Trump and Hillary, that's what the polls are saying in some places, he's doing himself wrong. And by the way, we've been telling our kids this, it lasts forever, right? So if you're going through a bad relationship and you're talking about it on the internet, even in text, the next time that somebody's looking you up, and they do, it's there. But people have opinions. Who here doesn't have an opinion? Right? Everybody has opinions. And by the way, we're not one-dimensional. Right? So I'm a father, I'm a brother, I'm a son. What do we show on the internet? I've got a Facebook page. It's very highly curated, right? We show all the nice pictures, the nice days that we have with the family when we go on vacation. I don't show you the bad days when I want to reach out and strangle the kids, right? So these are the things that are part of real life that we want to talk about. And people, just because you're a business person doesn't mean you don't have political ideas. It doesn't mean that you don't have ideas about romance that you might want to express your opinions about. Luckily for me, as I was going through this process, I happened to find somebody else as I was going through the MIT Smart Class, and they help for other people that are interested in kind of shaping their ideas. It's very helpful to go through a structured process. Julie Hoang is somebody who did his master's thesis at Harvard on finding new ways to project emotions on the internet. Okay, so when I told him what I was working on, he said, hey, we should talk. Because what we want to do is we want to convey emotion, but we want to create a safe place for people to have real discussions in an anonymous way. Now, you can go on and you can talk about things as yourself, and some people want to be themselves. I get it. But especially people who have a position to protect, or those college students from the earlier one that hope to have a job someday, they actually want to have a way of protecting their speech. How are we doing this? So there's lots of different ways to do animation, but what we want to be able to do, what we are working on, is actually the ability to do this with your mobile device. So either the single camera or the new dual-camera devices that you have, we want to actually be capturing the points on your face and then mapping that to eventually three-dimensional characters, which is what the current tech stack is working toward right now. We want to be able to help people project their emotions. And we want to just play that, see if we can hear it.
The avatar will actually move with my movements.
I can actually turn my head around and blink eyes.
ToonCrier will actually allow me to have different expressions.
Hello everyone, my name is Jaden, and I'm an avatar created by ToonCrier. How is everybody?
So the idea is we want to create characters, yes, but that's only half the story. Those characters can be made in a number of ways. What we want to do is allow people to rapidly upload characters, to map those characters in an animated way, and also to map that to the points in our face. So if you've used augmented reality and you've seen the ability to do some of that, what this does is it really takes it to the next generation, and go ahead. It actually allows you to take the different points on the face, as you can see here in the video, and map those points will actually be mapped as triggers in our characters. And that's what we're working toward at the moment. So this is the next generation of ToonCrier.
Can you go to the demo?
Yeah, we'll show you. So you want to pull it up on the screen. So let's just go straight to the demo. Okay. So what we're working toward is looking at a couple sticky segments, things that require additional emotional context. So there's a couple, we're at an election, in case people haven't noticed. There's a lot said about the election. People have a lot of opinions, so we're reaching out to some of those political groups. We're also just learning how the app works. We're going to be selecting a couple of nonprofits. If you think about people that have had drug abuse problems, they want to talk about their issues. There's a lot of people with PTSD. We're going to partner with some of those groups, and we're working on that as we speak, as well as some of the media folks. So this is, we actually do have an early version of the app, and you can sign up and you can select a character as you're signing up, right? So you can choose your character. You can then change your voice. Just right now, you have the ability to change the pitch and the speed of your voice. So those people out here who are curious to see if your opinion would be taken differently if you were a different sex. I've had women tell me I'd like to know how people would treat me if I was a man. I had the same argument. Or if I was a different ethnicity, right? So that capability now exists within ToonCrier today. So the app allows you to record your voice. I'm not sure how well this is going to work, but we'll try it out. The people that go to the BTNT conferences are the technology guys who are obviously the coolest. So we can set our mood and we can replay back.
The people who go to the BTNT conferences are technology guys who are obviously the coolest.
So if you want to be able to project your voice in a new way, you want to be able to express your emotions, obviously this is a very early version. I showed you some of the new tech stack stuff that we're working on. We're using some machine learning so that we can capture things with a one-dimensional camera. If anybody out here has been involved in animation, this is a big deal because usually you have multiple cameras, and the ability to do advanced animation is something that's new. So we think it's a lot of fun. If you are in the audience with somebody that happens to know a group who would like to mobilize their opinions in a new way, if you're somebody who's a part of supporting a nonprofit, we are looking to invest and create some specific apps with them to help learn as a partnership. Come up and see me afterwards. With that, I'll open up to questions.
Can you give us a little bit more of a sense of where you're at stage of development? And are you beta testing it someplace? Are you getting feedback? Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So a couple points in terms of feedback. So we've done a couple things. We have done questionnaires, and we also have done focus groups to kind of hone in on and create the app to the level it's at right now. So what we've been told, number one, are people like using characters. There's some dispute as to what niche will give us the most traction. We've got two different groups of people, college students and younger people. I get people that are really excited about using characters just for fun and to kind of have wacky conversations. I'm a little bit older, I don't quite understand this, but evidently that's one feedback. The other area is older people have told us that they want to protect their positions. And I was actually surprised that this wealthy group of people is very interested in doing that. Right now, we're beta testing it around politics, so you can download the app. There is content out there, and you can add content. And we're going to be working with some political groups, and also we are meeting with some traditional media companies, which are obviously dying, which we are hoping to partner with. And we have some advisors at MIT that are helping us connect with some of those folks. But again, if you know additional folks who could benefit from this technology afterwards, please come up and talk with us. Thanks for the question. Anybody else have any questions? Anybody want to come out in character? Yes.
So you started off with sort of the idea of protecting political speech. From a real identification purpose, how much of a protection do you think that your technology currently offers people? Because changing the pitch and
Sure.
sort of the voice, you didn't seem to be doing very sophisticated things. So
Sure.
how do you draw the line between how much you should be doing to distort people so they can't be easily recognized?
Well, there's two things I'll say. One, it's a lot more disguised than people are normally on the internet, right? There's too many embarrassing things out there. We are going to get better, right? I have certainly changing to an English accent, those kinds of things would help. So different dimensionalities to the voice, I agree with you. And the voice alteration technology is already out there. We just need to combine the pieces of it. So that's actually not that hard for us to do. And future generations would definitely look to do that. So it's a good point. From a security perspective, we don't collect a lot of information about people today. I'm not ready to take on the hackers from Russia and China. I think there's a lot of dissidents. I spoke with a woman today who is well connected with some dissidents in Venezuela, and we probably will do some work with them because they actually have fewer ways of communicating their political ideas. But I would argue that, actually I don't need to argue, there have been studies that show that within the United States, people who use Facebook a lot actually self-censor more, even in person, than has traditionally been the case. So there's a lot of self-censorship because of position, because of the companies, things like that. But yeah, the Venezuelan situation is kind of special. Any other questions? I know we're way over time. Yeah.
Last question. Are you guys transparent on the data that is being collected, and are you also transparent on if governments request that they want to see some of this data, even if you don't have it, but they want to at least ask you if you do?
Sure.
Transparent on that, so user knows.
So I have a privacy policy that is in detail. I also have a policy for that I actually got from a video gaming a woman who's in charge of video gaming that talks about acceptable behavior on the app, and we can police that, and we can take the user completely down and all their different posts. So we're absolutely focused on that. In terms of security, we don't collect a lot, so they can't get a lot at this stage in the game. On the other hand, if you want to learn what people really think versus what they say on Facebook or LinkedIn, you have the ability to collect data in mass, which quite frankly is not easily available today. Okay.